Hey, we called it. Fantasy football season is right ahead. So, best ball drafts going like crazy. And with the preseason kicked off, we're going to be talking about teams that we want to draft from, big stacks from. Essentially, when you look at rosters and teams, there's always overvalued and undervalued teams. For example, the Bengals, if you're taking all the players on the Bengals, you're using all four of your first round picks. So Ken and I are here. We're going to break down which teams probably have the best chance at overproducing their current draft value. So with that, Ken, thank you for coming and not ditching us like Connor.
I was going to say we're going to really miss Connor right now because we are just not going to go off on tangents nearly as much. We're going to actually have some clear, concise points. And, in Connor's place, we do have Phil's dog, Stella. And you guys can definitely hear because I can also definitely hear.
I'm going to go let her out, actually. Stella is taken care of now. Connor's not here. So you guys are going to get a lot of takes on best ball and regular fantasy leagues. No dynasty talk because Ken and I don't participate in those.
I was going to say we should just keep a list of who is on his dynasty team so we can keep it straight and bring it up, every 5 seconds.
just yell a random name like, hey, I traded this person for this guy 3 years ago. I'm so happy that he probably doesn't listen to these. Otherwise, we'll probably get some nasty text messages. Okay, so Ken and I spent way too long trying to get AI to generate some nice visuals for us. So hopefully I'll be able and smart enough to go back and forth between the two as we talk here.
Terminator is not happening just yet. Man.
It'll be here. We got plenty of time before Arnold Schwarzenegger's knocking on people's doors. All right, so starting off, these are all grouped according to what was it? QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1, and wide receiver 2 average rank. So how hard is it going to be drafting these stacks essentially for a full team? You see Bengals and Eagles are the hardest two to get. Very obvious. You need to get Jamar Chase the first pick if you want the Bengals, and then T. Higgins and Chase Brown are second and third round. Joe Burrow would be the fourth. Literally, you have to use all your draft capital in your first 4 picks. It's a huge swing. And then similar for the Eagles, where it's like impossible to get Saquon and AJ Brown. You can pick up Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts, but still equally hard to stack the value players there. And that's why I call tier 1 too expensive. I do not want to waste all of my valuable picks on these teams. I'd rather be stacking late round picks or bench players and hoping that those all together come together, have a correlated outcome, and boom, payoff. Ken, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you didn't watch the Cincinnati Bengals preseason game where their first team defense got completely wrecked up and down the field by, I think, a second and even a third string offense, man. I don't even know who they played, but I saw the score at the end. Just ridiculous. Their defense is in midseason form at this point. Individually, I do like a lot of value on these Bengals, but you just can't get all of them. I mean, your first 4 picks, forget about their bye week. Just too tough to get. Now, for the Eagles, I really like the value for like Devonta Smith. I do think that the Eagles, they just did not need to pass last year at all. Their defense was, killing it. Saquon looked good. And their second half of games were running out clocks. There's always going to be some defensive regression because, I think they were a top, defensive. Like they're an all-decade type of defense last year. You're not going to see that again, but Jalen Hurts, running in touchdowns. I also, the fact that he's not sharing those touchdowns as much with the wide receivers, I don't think that is a stack. You're right, just too expensive. I don't think you're going to win with something like that. But individually, I do like AJ Brown. I think that because he had a slower second half, and he always gets hurt at one point. I think he had like 125 yards in like 6 straight games or something like that last year. I still think he's an elite talent. I mean, he's right up there with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson in terms of top wide receivers in the league. So I think that you could get some value there once again individually.
Yeah. So heads up, we aren't going to be going too much into individual detail going forward, just because one, time, two, like it's very early in the preseason. We need things to talk about for the next few weeks as we approach the season. But like high level teams that we really like or don't like and why. And again, Ken and I aren't all in on Bengals and Eagles. Obviously, if you have the first pick, you're taking Jamar Chase, but we're not recommending you go get Jamar Chase and then T Higgins and then Joe Burrow with your 3 of your first 4 picks. Just too much cost with, then one injury to Joe Burrow and your top 3 picks are all useless.
I do feel like you just got to put some respect on those first 2 because there's a reason why they had so many high value positions there. But who from this tier 2 do you like, Phil?
All right, so tier 2, we got all sorts of teams, and these are all the teams that you would expect. You got, the Lions, the Rams, the Buccaneers, all these lots of really, really good players, and just a few that
and also the Dolphins somehow.
Yeah. So like I think if you can get CeeDee Lamb in with one of the first 6 picks, I am going heavy after Dak Prescott. So obviously I'm a Cowboy hater. Told and true, love being a Cowboy hater. But I think this is a good time to get him. I think their defense won't be as good. We'll see what goes on with Micah Parsons. If he gets traded, this is even better. But if I get CeeDee Lamb in the first round, so I'm looking at I have to be picks 2 to 5, then 100% I'm taking Dak Prescott around early, and I'm going and grabbing Jake Ferguson, and I'm going all in on this Cowboys passing attack. So that is one that stands out on the high side to me. What about you?
So from this group here, I had 2 teams that I wanted to talk. Yep, just the 2. And Dallas Cowboys were actually my favorite one as well. I completely agree. I want to avoid stationary, just pure passing quarterbacks. Dak used to be able to run. He had that horrific ankle thing. I think you got to pop that back up, Phil.
I was trying to go back and forth so that people could see our faces more, unless you
I don't think anyone cares about our faces, Phil.
I haven't shaved, or I guess I shaved about a week ago, so thought I was looking good.
Well, but Dak Prescott is the one except, well, not just one, but the highest exception, because I do not believe in a 6th round pick or 4th round pick in Jaden Blue. I do not believe in Javonte Williams. I think that their running game is going to be short passes to CeeDee Lamb because it's worked every single time they've done it. I think CeeDee Lamb is just a one next level talent. I do think that I'm sorry, I should have put him in with the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chases, obviously. But I think that George Pickens is also a very good complement to the CeeDee. Jake Ferguson, absolutely. Yeah, anything that's not a running back in that offense, I'm going to target. The other one.
Before you go to your second one, I just want to hop in real quick. I named this the if the picks fall right tier. And it's mostly because like a lot of these quarterbacks are probably earlier than I want. Like you can see the Ravens, to get Lamar, you got to use a second or late second or early 3rd round pick. To get Patrick Mahomes, you're talking 4th or 5th round. And then, Jared Goff, in order to get to stack him, you need Amon-Ra, Sun God early. And then you need CeeDee Lamb early. So it's like you got to put a little extra draft capital into the first of these picks. And I just bring that up to say, I am out on putting early picks into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was the one team I was out on. Baker Mayfield, Ken, you laugh about it all the time, where it's like we're at the peak Baker. It's at the top of the circle that you can only go down from here. Maybe 9-10 weeks in the season we'll get some of the upswing. But just wanted to throw it out there that the Buccaneers, they got a lot of mouths to feed on that offense now between Godwin, Edmonds, Ibuka, McMillan. And then their running game. I personally like Sean Tucker. I know Rashad White just got hurt and Bucky Irving's good, but it's like I think they're gonna, use a committee field a little bit, and not as much as most teams would, but get a lot of mouths to feed. Bucky Irving going to be a little overvalued there, and I don't buy into the new offensive coordinator system, so I am out on the Buccaneers.
The only one I do actually like from the Buccaneers is Ibuka, primarily because Godwin, I don't know what's going on. He's either going to start on the pup or he's going to miss, several games. At last I saw, he was coming back from an dislocated and fractured ankle at the end of last year. I don't think that he's going to be ready to come back. So I think that you can get some value with him. But besides that, I agree. I'm out on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to be the most popular take, but I'm out on the Detroit Lions this year. I just think that Ben Johnson was just that important. I'm sure we're going to talk about him later. But also, it's absolutely impossible to get that stack because you cannot get Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first round and the first round. There's just no way you can do it. But I see some regression there. I think that, get the center was Ragnow retiring early or late in the off season. It's kind of a hard thing to replace. I do think that Jahmyr Gibbs, if they go all in and tell David Montgomery to take the backseat that he deserves, could have some value. But we're talking top end first round pick there. So I'm out on the Detroit Lions. The other team that I actually really like from this one, and I know probably I don't want to say front runner one, but it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that there's just too much talent on the team for them to. They really rode the defense last year. I'm thinking that there's going to be some defensive regression. They're not going to have that great. I think that Isaiah Pacheco is better than what he showed last year. I don't think he ever, toe injuries and foot injuries are really hard for running backs to come back from. It takes some time. I think I do like him as a runner, and I think we're going to see more of what we saw 2 years ago from him. But just take your pick, Xavier Woods, Rashid Rice once he gets back. And of course, like Travis Kelce there, I just think that you have some values because there's some questions of when those players are going. Oh, look, Worthy and Rashid Rice are going 57, 58 back to back. But I mean, you're getting, all those are all mid round. You can get the whole Cincinnati Bengals team and the whole Kansas City Chiefs team.
If I ever get the first pick in a best ball draft, that's 100% what I'm doing.
If you did that, you just get a bunch of really weird looks.
So I'm gonna say I'm out on the Commanders. For the record, I'm out on the Ravens too. It's just like mostly because when you're buying them, the Ravens, the wide receivers aren't good, and you got contradicting stats on the running game from Lamar and Derrick Henry. So the upside isn't as much as you'd hope. The Commanders, I want to be in, and I feel like I should be, but for some reason, it's like they were a 99th percentile team last year. And when I say that, I mean like they hit on everything. And it's like, I feel like there's got to be regression. And when I look at the roster and what they can do, it's like Terry McLaurin's still holding out. Brian Robinson is going to be like part of a 3-headed running game now with Eckler and Deebo Samuel. I guess 4 if you count Daniels. It's like, I like Deebo, but like he's shown decline the last few years. But when I look at the Commanders, I feel like I get a little bit of the Ravens vibes too, where it's like, where's the value? Where's the stacking benefit? And it's like, because they're gonna take from each other based on that run game.
So I was looking at the Washington Commanders team, and I realized they would be like if I made a 2021 fantasy team, like fantasy draft, or I started like a Madden thing with them. I'd go get Deebo Samuels, go get Zach Ertz, go get Austin Eckler too to go with your team. Now I still like Deebo. That's the one value because he's going. So I've seen some like round 9, so round 10. Okay, fine, 7 to 9 ish. Yes. But I do see some value in there, especially with like McLaurin being out. Deebo will be in shape by the time the season starts. He's already lost some weight. It's like, yeah, it wasn't hard for him.
He'll do 7. He's that guy. He'll do 7 crunches and his biceps will be rich.
Yeah. But no, same thing with the regression. I just think that it's hard to keep up with what they did last year. So I agree with that sentiment right there.
And then lastly, Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams, the only team we haven't talked about. Personally, I think it's risky to go after someone with back pain. And the 2 receivers, you gotta put a lot of capital in to get these guys. That's rounds 2, 3, and 4. So it's a great job though if you fall and you get Puka or Devontae, just grab Stafford. He's like going QB 28 or something. Like it's a free 11th round pick where you get the nice stack.
I'm all right with it.
All right, let's go. Again, I don't know if I said it, but these are all grouped by like the plausibility of getting them. It'd be very hard to get 2 of these teams. That's why there's so many in tier 2 and only like 2 in tier 1. Moving on to tier 3, this is probably my favorite place to grab stacks because you can let the draft fall to you and you can get receivers and then you can just draft their quarterback around early, and your first 5 picks are top of the line players, and then your next 2 fill out the rest. So, for example, Bears, easy to get DJ Moore after 4 rounds and then go grab Caleb Williams around before anyone else. San Fran, hard to get McCaffrey, but you can stack the receivers in Kittle and Brock Purdy, no problem.
So my 2 favorite ones from this, I'm going to say 2.5 actually. We talk about the 49ers all the time on the show. We definitely have a little bit of, like my one last year, I had a whole fantasy team of just the and they had an awful year, and I still made it to the championship in that league. But I mean, I definitely think that like Brock Purdy's pretty underrated. I think Brock Purdy did pretty good last year with, I mean, the team falling apart around him. I think that he showed that he's, you know, a starting quarterback in the NFL. I like the Vikings. I had them as, this is my like wild card pick more so than anything. So obviously you have Justin Jefferson, but I do really just like the weapons around it. I like, you know, Addison will be back eventually. I think he's only out for 3 games. Hawkinson is just old reliable at tight end. Aaron Jones is actually old reliable at running back. You know, a lot of people are worried about Jordan Mason there, but Aaron Jones has just continued to ball out every single year. And doesn't matter the circumstance, he's looked good. He's looked good with Aaron Rodgers. He's looked good with no quarterback. He's looked good with Jordan Love. Then in last year, the whole offense looked good, but it's all about the JJ McCarthy. You know, that's just that wild card throw up. It's like, hey, they have a good defense, they have a good line, they have good weapons. You know, if it's set up for anyone, it's set up for him. So, you know, he could be this like breakout, you know, really just stand out based more so on the team around him. So that's one, you know, if you're in a best ball Hail Mary team, I'm absolutely okay with the Vikings there. The one team that I'm surprised they're even in this tier is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm a big Brian Thomas Jr. fan. I think that Trevor Lawrence, he's always on the every year sneaky value for me. One other one on the team, Travis Etienne. I know people are completely out on there. Like Tank Bisbee's a better running back, and they drafted somebody pretty late too. But you know, they put a lot of capital in on him, and just not that long ago, he was. Did he have like a RB overall year? I think that Travis Etienne is someone where we can just, you know, at the end of this year look and go, oh yeah, that guy is really good. And when the system's working, he looks very, very good and dynamic. Whoops, we messed that one up by drafting him in the eighth, maybe even ninth round. So he's right there hanging out with Debo, the ones I'm going to get excited for later on. Even if it doesn't work, it's an 8th or ninth round pick. I mean, he's going on my bench. He's not even a flex at this point. So yeah, I think that's definitely worth a shot.
So I'm going to talk about the teams Ken didn't talk about, actually. Buffalo Bills. Last year, no receivers were valuable on this team. I pulled up the stats while you were talking. Khalil Shakir was their best. 76 catches, 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And I think he had a 2-touchdown game in there at some point. Keon Coleman was their 50-50 ball guy. He had a 51% catch rate with a couple big plays, but there wasn't too much that popped. I just think somehow they address that and they get better receiving production. It does take a lot to commit to Josh Allen that early, but in general, I think Dalton Kincaid was a rookie too. Like there's just so much upside for these guys who I think had a bottom of the barrel quality year, right? Because Josh Allen was MVP with 30 and 28 touchdowns that could easily push 4,500 and 35 touchdowns with how much the Bills need him to play. So I think you could do a lot worse if you see Josh Allen fall, you know, to the 3rd round or something, and you just pick him up and say, all right, I'm committing. I'm going to go grab 2 of these wide receivers. They're late round picks. This isn't a best ball situation. You even get just one of them in a regular situation. It could work out well. And then the Falcons, depending what side you are on of the draft, if you're at the beginning, you grab Bijan. If you're at the end of the 1st round, you go grab Drake London. Easy to pair with Michael Penix. Darnell Mooney going very, very late. He was excellent last year, and I think he pairs better with Michael Penix, who has a better deep ball than Kirk Cousins does at this point in his career. Kyle Pitts, you can see going borderline terribly drafted, and I stand by the rest of the world. I was a huge Kyle Pitts believer for so long. But everything has come out, and it's like, dude, the guy can't separate in the NFL the way he was expected. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if it's bad opportunities, but he's supposed to be that guy who's completely unguardable, completely unmatchable, and it's just not there. So I go grab any of the Falcons pairings. Like you forget to do a stack, and at the end of the draft, you're like, all right, I'll grab Penix and Mooney and sit them on my bench, and hopefully it pays off. But I am also with you on the Jaguars. I wish I could believe in JJ McCarthy. It's just, he seems like he's going probably at maybe not his ceiling, but like 80-90% of his ceiling. It just seems too high, especially when you have other guys like Trevor Lawrence who might be going after him, or even like Caleb Williams by him. I can't remember the other guys in that range, but it seems a little too rich for a rookie coming off a torn ACL, even though, yes, like the weapons are completely undeniable.
I know we're talking about stacks and stuff, and I'm just looking at the numbers. What if you just take the Vikings and then just take Josh Allen? I'd rather do that. I know it's not a stack,
Get
but
JJ, it's a
I
stack.
mean,
They all wear purple or near purple. So FYI, I don't know if I said it. My tier ranking or tier title for this was target one of these, and that the one I see falling in my lap a lot is the Bears. Just an FYI. And I also don't get DeAndre Swift. I go grab Rashawn Johnson as my running back, and I also get Cole Kmet instead of their starting tight end. I want the Bears backup space.
I don't hate DeAndre Swift. I feel like he's gotten enough hate and he's going so like, he's late enough where it's like okay at this point. But that's just me.
All right, so this tier is called I hate Bo Nix, but I love these. Like, I think Cortland Sutton's currently underrated. He can be your third receiver, your fourth pick, and you can he was good with Bo Nix last year, and I think Bo Nix is starting to excel. Evan Ingram, I think, is going to potentially be in that Jimmy Graham role, and because that's what Sean Payton ran. For the record, I forgot to say that. But I just can't buy Bo Nix. And it just makes it so hard for me to be like, hey, I want to go get those guys. And every time I see them in the draft, I'm like, that's good value. That's good value. And then I'm like, oh, but then I got to draft Bo Nix. Not doing that. So what's your take on the Broncos?
I don't like Bo Nix. No, yes, I keep hearing all this stuff about Cortland Sutton being a value, and he's a value every year. And guess what? I was like, I would much rather not draft him and go, yeah, he would have been a good pick than actually pick him and stick with this Bo Nix. Great defense. I can see him, kind of going back, regression. I could see them just being like, hey, we're going to just run the ball all day long with the JK and RJ Harvey or all the other 4 running backs that are all pretty good over there. No, I really like the other 2 teams in this tier, and they're underperforming offenses last year. Chargers were more because that's what the coach wanted than anything else. We talked about before, they were just a run heavy team without anything special at running back after the first 2 weeks. I really like Justin Herbert. I love the fact that they got Keenan Allen, man. I know Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen, they're both slots up. You know what? You're going to get 2 really, really good route runners on the same team. Awesome. They'll figure it out. It'll be fine. O'Marion Hampton, I know he hasn't looked that great so far, but I think that he definitely has a whole lot more, versus what they had last year. Draft capital definitely show that as well. But the Texans, they really, really underperformed last year. And I think you're getting a pretty big discount on everyone throughout their whole team right now because of it. Also, tragic thing that happened to their receiver core. They don't have a wide receiver 2 or 3. They got that rookie. And then I actually like John Mechie. I thought that he looked pretty decent last year. But CJ Stroud, he went from like a top, what was he, 5, maybe 6 pick last year down to, double digit rounds. But Nico Collins has always looked good every time he's out on the field. He's definitely, had his share of injuries, but man, when he gets out there, he's just big, fast, good route runner. And I think he's just overall an underrated receiver. The running back situation is kind of tough because Joe Mixon's hurt, but Joe Mixon has also just been hey, don't watch me play. Look at my fantasy numbers, and I am a good fantasy football player. He, not the most exciting thing to watch, not necessarily the most explosive, but he's just a good runner, good pass catcher out of the backfield. He's in that old reliable group, and you're getting a discount on him. 1, because of the injury, but 2, also, I think it's just because he's Joe Mixon. By the way, there's nobody here that wants Nick Chubb to excel more than me.
Disagree. I have my fat head in my basement. So Nick Chubb, number 1 fan. I have 2 signed jerseys.
I have a signed jersey and a mini helmet in my office at work. I'm just saying, love Nick Chubb, and I just, unfortunately, just with everything that he's had, it seems like he has lost explosion. He lost tons of explosion last year, didn't have it. And I guess there's a lot of reports saying that he's just missing that Nick Chubbness that he had before. And, he'll always be a decent, reliable running back, but he's not going to be the same. I think this is Joe Mixon's backfield, and Nick Chubb's there to hang out.
I really hope Nick Chubb at least becomes like the goal line back. Like, hey, I have good vision. I'll find the right hole to go through. But yeah, I wish there was more to him. And the fact
Joe Mixon's a really good goal line back, though.
No, but Nick Chubb's better. Anyways, I'm with you 100%. If I'm at the back end of the first round, it's like, all right, I'm grabbing Nico and I'm grabbing CJ Stroud because it's cheap and easy. Heck, I might go grab Dalton Schultz because he's a free tight end. And I think he has good upside. Like you said, there's no wide receiver 2 here. Christian Kirk off a torn ACL. Tank Dell, does his leg still work? A bunch of rookies out there, like easy to make a mark. And Stroud's rookie season, he showed great connection to Dalton Schultz. And if they can, rekindle that, it'll be good. New offensive coordinator, new scheme. Hopefully, it just clicks and can picks up from there. And then lastly, the Chargers. Like I want all the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be real good this year. I think Herbert is finally going to, he's had good statistical years, but I think Herbert's going to have a good statistical year paired with good winning, be in the MVP conversation, but not win it. So I think the Chargers are a good team to get a lot of pieces of. The question is, we know lads out there. We're hoping Omarion Hampton becomes, the running back they can rely on. Najee apparently can't see still. And then their rookie from last year, his name's escaping me. He didn't show Kamani Vidal. He didn't show much, prowess at anything. So we'll see where these other options come from. Quentin Johnston will for sure have his 200-yard, 3-touchdown game. The one game he catches all of his passes, but that's it.
If you don't talk about Keenan Allen, I'm going to be mad.
Well, you already covered it, and it's
okay.
Yeah, it's exactly the thing. He'll get a bunch of target. He might as well be their tight end, right? At this point in his career, he's going to have 10 catches for 80 yards. Slowly move the chain. That the Travis Kelce spot.
Bears Keenan Allen was pretty much a tight end. Yeah. Size-wise out there.
All right. We are getting to the bottom of the barrels now, so we'll just flip through these. Seahawks, Packers, Cardinals. Here we go.
I had 3 teams that I still wanted to talk about, and 2 of them are on this page. So I do think that, just real quick, Arizona, Kyler Murray is kind of an ugly player to watch. I feel like I want there to be more wide receiver or quarterback skills. I feel like some games their offense looks good. This is the next or second year under what's his name? Phil, who's their Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff's
no. Oh, I'm sorry. Who?
Dude, I have no.
I'm off that.
Drew Petzig.
Oh, never mind. No idea.
Don't know that guy at all. Yeah.
But they got James Conner, they got Marvin Harrison, they got Trey McBride. Good, those are good names there. Kyler has some weapons. They don't have a good defense. These are all, pretty much. Trey McBride, you got to pay for. Pretty much everyone else, no big cost whatsoever. I think Kyler Murray is really undervalued. James Conner, he just always provides. He's right there at the Joe Mixon where it says, hey, he's always done well. I don't believe in Trey Benson as their backup. I just think that this is a team that could probably have more fantasy value than football value. So don't hate them. The other one, Packers, just looking at statistically before Jordan Love got hurt last year, he had a groin injury and just never, I think after the groin injury, he was throwing the ball 10 less attempts per game. And if they really get back to more of an open field, let Jordan Love throw the ball a bit type of offense, they could really look better. Josh Jacobs, he's looked good. And unfortunately, Jaden Reed, I heard he's in a walking boot right now, which stinks. But they're not on a shortage of wide receivers there. Hopefully that the first round rookie was Matthew Golden. He can look, dynamic. That's the whole reason they got him out there. And then, there's just enough weapons out there, even with a hurt, Christian Watson, or recovering Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, come back where it's hey, you could just see some values. If you look, there's nobody here that you really have to pay up for besides Josh Jacobs. So I could see some value there.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. This is an easy one. And it's if you believe in Matthew Golden, then it's go just pick this up. So Golden, just looked it up, 987 yards, 9 touchdowns. He bounced around, was in Houston. He's that guy that has a little what's it called, raw talent, where it's he can do so many things well and has the athleticism there, but can he put it all together? I hope so. And I think if Jordan Love is healthy and can play, he's shown he can put up the points. I don't know if he's a winning quarterback, and I think TV, from what I've seen, has been way too high on that guy can be the best quarterback in the NFC. I don't know about that, but he can absolutely stat pad, get make some big plays, make some things happen. And Like I wish Jaden Reed was healthy. Loved grabbing him last year. He's absolutely a speed kind of guy who can all of a sudden get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns like that. So, matchup dependent, you could have played him. But I'm with you. Packers are the ones where if I was doing something, I would be going after them. Cardinals, I just can't buy that Trey McBride is a 1,200-yard guy, and everyone's like, oh, he'll get 1,000, but then like 8 touchdowns and make up for it. It's like these guys want Marvin Harrison to work. They want Michael Wilson to work, and they try to run the ball. They want to be defense first because their coach is a former defensive coordinator. It's just hard for me to believe. And I think Trey McBride's like a tiny dude too. So, never mind. He's 6'4", 250. I can't read. I think that's someone else. Anyways, I just can't buy that it's like I think he's a good player. I just don't think he is, he's Travis Kelce now, and he's going to take over fantasy leagues for the next so many years. So I'm just not fully buying into that. And then lastly, the Seahawks. It's like, dude, Sam Darnold, I was a huge believer in the Viking system with what they built. Absolutely loved it last year. Ironically, I think I had a lot of JJ McCarthy best ball shares before he tore his ACL. And I'm like, all right, well, hindsight, I would have went and got Sam Darnold if I would have known at the time that McCarthy wasn't playing. But Seahawks ain't the right spot for that guy. That's a bad O-line. They wrote him a big check. And JSN, it's his first time as a wide receiver 1. Tyler Lockett's gone. Like they got rid of all their old guys and they replaced them with new. Ken Walker is going to go get hurt for 4 or 5 games. Soft tissues creep up on that guy like nothing. So I wish I could believe in Sam Darnold. I think he is an NFL caliber quarterback, and I'm so mad that people are going to be like, well, see, Baker is a real quarterback because he can continue to put up stats, and Darnold only did it 1 time. It's like, well, that's because the Seahawks situation is pretty terrible. So I'm just completely out. What did I name this tier? Not a believer. All right, I'm gonna make this fast. This one's called LOL, why would I do this to myself? Drake May, love him. Love Travion Henderson. I don't want any of the Patriots pass catchers. Demario Douglas, I don't think is bad, but like I am not buying into whatever wide receiver they're putting out there. And then Hunter Henry's a fine backup tight end. But same with the Panthers. It's like Chuba was great when you got him late last year, and he put up some nice stats. They've put a lot of capital into their running back room between the draft, between free agency, and I'm just over here like, I can't buy Chuba to continue to be 25 touches and reliable behind a bad O-line. Bryce Young's not a big threat. They don't have a lot of verticality to them. Teams are going to focus and force Bryce Young to play outside the numbers, and I think it's bad news for Chuba and the Panthers in general.
A lot of people really like McMillan. Both these teams, it's the whole, hey, if these young quarterbacks are going to take a next step and really like produce, for like a fantasy, make the whole team fantasy relevant, great, good for them. I will be happy to miss it. I'm not going to feel like I missed out. No FOMO here. So Drake May, he's one where, because he runs the ball enough, where it's like, hey, that's an interesting, really realistically waiver wire pickup. Just one person randomly, I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be a very annoying person who, like, people would be like, hey, get Travion the ball, and they're gonna be like, we're gonna give Ramondre the ball quite a bit. So but I think he'll have some fantasy relevance, but more fantasy like frustrating relevance than anything.
Absolutely. That is the classic Josh McDaniels Patriots like MO, right? Like if he's offensive coordinator of the Patriots, then there's going to be one running back who's over talented and doesn't play, and one running back who gets all the carries because it's a better blocker or whatever excuse they have.
Because he fumbles more in this situation.
All right, and last up, Tier 7, what did I call us? So I said, all right, I drafted punters in the first round, and I need a miracle to save me. So I'm putting all my picks onto these bad teams and hoping one is like 99th percentile outcomes. Bottom line, we don't need to talk about these. Well, we can talk about a few, but I don't want to talk about too many. The one I actually want, and you're going to think I'm crazy, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just so cheap. And it's like, I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't leave stat padding offenses, but DK Metcalf is his only viable receiving option. I like Caleb Johnson because Arthur Smith loves to ground and pound, and he's got that style. If he, earns the starting job, you could be looking 15, 20 touches a game, getting that Najee Harris treatment from a couple years ago. And yes, Najee at one point was a top 5 RB for a season.
Because he caught 12 passes a game from freaking Ben Roethlisberger.
Top 3 RB for a season. Anyways, Steelers. If I had to bet on a team here to overproduce their draft spots, it would be the Steelers. I could see DK Metcalf being a 1,200 10 touchdown receiver. Caleb Johnson being a top 3 RB pick, not top 3 round pick next year, and Aaron Rodgers retiring after leading these guys to 8-9 and ruining Tomlin's over 500 streak.
I do like Metcalf from that, but Aaron Rodgers plays slow. Pittsburgh Steelers have a legitimate defense, and I do not think this is the New York Jets all over again. I think that Tomlin has just a little bit more respect, not really from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to do his own thing, but the rest of the locker room. So I just don't, I don't know. I am staying away from them as well. The one team I want to talk about is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, don't worry about quarterback. Pretend they had a 0 quarterback, not a negative one, but Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren had a ton of draft capital. I think that he's not Brock Bowers. No one's going to be like Brock Bowers, again. But I think that he's going to have some relevance. I think that those are just some really good weapons, over in Indianapolis. And if they had like average quarterback play, like, I mean, those guys with Flacco really balled out last year. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is the best person on, from anybody in this group, from anybody on this team, like talent wise. And I just think that if they got good quarterback play, it's like, and Anthony Richardson, he can run the ball too. Like all he has to do is Daniel Jones can run a little bit as well. But like, if they just get, slightly below average, I'm talking like 15 to 20, top 15 to top 20 range quarterback play, then there are a lot of weapons on that offense that could look pretty good. And their defense, nothing to write home about last year either. I mean, it is set up to be very fantasy relevant, just not with Anthony Richardson. So if there is a chance where he does start to show that he, deserved even a little bit of that draft pick, then, that's a team that we could look back and be like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of fantasy relevance right there.
So I know Wade said I didn't want to talk about a lot of these teams, and we won't, but I don't get the Raiders, man. Brock Bowers, phenomenal rookie season, 18th overall. Ashton Jonty, 13th overall. I don't see the talent. I don't see Geno Smith carrying this team. Like, Pete Carroll is not a fantasy-friendly, head coach. I just don't see why everyone is in on the Raiders and, how good they're going to be. I will not have any Raiders on my team. And that's just the bottom line. Also, throwing it out there, no Jets. And Saints.
Whoa.
I know. I'm just looking at this. Titans are one where I'm like, I could see Cam Ward outproducing. I was impressed by his preseason game. So that's my notes on all these teams.
The only players that I would actually want from here, I mentioned Jonathan Taylor. I'm always going to love Alvin Kamara. I think the offense is going to run through him. I think that he'll always have that level of fantasy relevance. Calvin Ridley could be, I thought he looked pretty good for whatever his life threw at him before and was out of football for 2.5 years. Gambling and just walking off. Yeah, whatever it was, I thought he looked pretty good for being out that long, but I mentioned DK Metcalf. Those are the 4 players that I might have on my team. That is it.
All right. Look at that. We talked about this stuff way longer than we thought we were going to. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to pivot over. And after a small break while I get these scenes set up, after all that hard work, we are back. Here's the draft order. I want to prove to everyone that we are going to hit this randomize button. And
and do it one more time, man. Come on.
We're not picking next to each other. Come on. All right. 6 and 11. That's great. Those are great spots. No one's happy with these. That's how you know it's good. It's like negotiating. What's it called? It's the art of the deal. If everyone's miserable, you made a good deal. And that's what just happened. All right. So I am 12, 11. 11. Ken is 6, which means I'm probably gonna be playing for some of those stacks we were just talking about. Let's see how this plays out.
I definitely like going in the middle over at the end, especially for this.
So hour-long picks. Hopefully these computers on the other teams don't take too long.
So I'm up, and I really wanted one of 3 wide receivers to start at 6, and those were Jamar Chase, obviously he's gone, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb is my next one. So Puka went way early, and only 2 running backs off. I could get Gibbs.
Oh, full PPR, 12 teams, for anyone that was asking.
Yeah, I'm drafting CeeDee Lamb, so definitely a good start there.
FYI, CeeDee Lamb would be he would be 3 or 4, maybe 2, depending on the mood I'm in, because it's Chase and Bijan are the guys I'm taking ahead of him. Saquon would be right after him. All right. So at 11, not really happy with the people here.
So Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas Jr. went between us.
So I'm going to go Nico. Mentioned trying to get him to stack. I believe in Houston. I don't believe in their defense. Could get a lot of points. See, now McCaffrey went 12. That one hurt because that's the other guy I wanted outside of Nico.
I would have picked McCaffrey. But McCaffrey and Nico were my 2. We already talked, don't like Genty. I like Brian Thomas Jr. If I can do Nico and Brian Thomas Jr. at the turn, I'm all in on that.
I agree. And those are great guys to grab stacks for. Next pick. All right, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why people love Neighbors. I don't think his quarterbacks play to his strength. So I'm going to go with some more upside than I typically would want. Drake London. He had a couple good games, but Nico and Drake London.
Whoa, Josh Allen already off the board.
Betting on some team upside is what I'm doing. Neighbors. AJ Brown was there, but again, he's already questionable. I don't know what that is.
He'll be fine.
I know he is, but like it just always pops up. Another soft tissue guy.
So I really wanted A-Chain or AJ Brown. Those were the 2 that I really wanted to come around. That would have been awesome. I would have just walked out of the draft at that point. And it didn't happen. Okay, so
gotta really think. This one separates the men from the boys. usually round 2 flies, and here Ken is holding us up.
So the highest that's there is Brock Bowers and Bucky Irving, and I'm staying away from those guys. I'm not a Josh Jacobs guy, man. Jesus.
I know exactly who I would take. I'm curious if you go the same way.
I'm playing the fielder. There's somebody I like way or a little bit later, but we'll see. Because I already have one receiver, and I like Jonathan Taylor. I just think that's talent there. Big fan, so I'm going with him.
I feel like he has a really high floor. Like they're going to run him 25 times a game because that's all they can do. Lad McConkey was my pick. I love him.
It's like you don't even know that they got Keenan Allen. You keep skipping over it.
Dude, they got Keenan Allen because they didn't want to rely on Quentin Johnston.
So let's see. So Trey McBride's gone. Kyron Williams, I kind of, I like him right at that turn as well. T. Higgins in the 3rd round.
Kyron T would be all my picks and Tyreek from those in between your picks.
So I kind of really like to have 2 running backs that I really like to trust. And this one here, a different format, I might have even taken in the 2nd round. So it's Chase Brown. I just think that with that he looked so good with that offense. I mean, I just really like it. So
2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, full PPR, and you're out here grabbing 2 running backs early. What do you think you are? Team 2 over here? Saquon, Bucky Irving, Kyron? Or Team 9, Derrick Henry, A-Chain? Like, sometimes you just got to question these bots that are drafting. We don't have enough friends to fill these things out if everyone's like, why are you going against bots?
Well, also time-wise, we were supposed to do this about an hour and a half ago, so...
Life gets in the way. All right, see, now this is unfortunate because there's not a lot of players I like here, which is very like James Cook. I think he's good, but I think they're going to try to phase him out. Garrett Wilson, I don't want anything to do with the Jets offense. Then Amari and Hampton, I liked him, but I don't like him that much, So we're just going to go easy, get the player reliable, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns coming through, Mike Evans. So I'm going full Connor on this, grabbing all my wide receivers.
At the end of the 3rd, I mean, I've seen Mike Evans go closer to the 2-3 turn, so that's definitely a good pick.
And this one finally went the way I wanted. And I guess finally, it's 3 picks in, but Amari and Hampton came back around to me, buying into that Chargers attack. So I'm just going to go pick him up to get my first running back in.
Najee's just going to let you down.
But I'm telling you, the Greg Roman offense wants a bell cow. They want 20 yards a game, Frank Gore. If he can do it, first round pick, the investments there.
All right. So Rashee Rice went 2 picks before me, and man, he's probably like 3 rounds too early at this point. Yeah, he's looking at what, six game suspension or something like that.
If he shows up for week 1, it's worth it.
All right, but I already have 2 running backs, and my favorite player here, Alvin Kamara, is there. I can't pick him because I picked 2 running backs already.
If Tyreek flex spots,
I know
it's a plausible pick.
That's true. But there's another one.
If it was 1 flex and 3 wide receiver, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, there is one player here that we did talk about earlier, and I also really, really like, and that's DK Metcalf. So, he's just going to get everything with Aaron Rodgers. Is going to work out. It's going to be awful, and I'm okay to ride that one. Joe
FYI,
Burrow was there.
makes mistakes, man. What I would have done is 100% DJ Moore because I love the Bears. I love them too much. And I don't want Cortland Sutton would probably be the only other guy I want that went in that round.
See,
Going from UVU.
I have DK Metcalf way above Cortland Sutton, way above DJ Moore. George Pickens I like, but still like too early.
So real quick, DK Metcalf is on a worse offense with a better defense, and you like him that much more than DJ Moore still.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It has a lot to do with belief that Aaron Rodgers can get people the ball.
I love Team 2. 4 running backs. They filled out
No,
the
you
running
don't.
backs and RB's flexes.
I don't believe you. So
I don't actually. I respect their game. How about that?
So the one other part about being in the middle is like you just see people, you're like, well, I'm not going to get those guys. Same thing at the end. But right here between two guys, one of those is Joe Mixon. The other one is Devonta Smith. I just think that Devonta Smith's super talented. I also missed out on AJ Brown earlier. I do think that this past game is underrated based off of the lack of necessity from earlier. So I'm going Devonta Smith. So with going two running backs early, having CD, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, super pumped about that so far.
So looking at who went, I'm very upset that Montgomery went, even though I'm out on the Lions. Would have been nice to get like a stable second running back. Not a fan of Joe Mixon. And now we're back at the point where there's two guys out of the next 4 or 5 that I really want. And that's J-Mo and RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey is going to be one of those guys that just doesn't look like the best player in the backfield, but he gets a lot of love from Sean Payton. So I'm going to go with the upside first because I think I can get RBs more similar to RJ Harvey than I can wide receivers similar to Jameson Williams. Kind of regretting that a little bit. That's the best ball strategy is that as I click the button because like J-Mo is going to go.
RJ Harvey immediately went off the board.
Yeah, and Isaiah Pacheco.
And Pacheco.
Dude, look at
I really
12.
wanted Pacheco.
Look at Team 12.
Yeah, man, you can just tell bots, man.
Dude, I got to make some phone calls. I'm not very happy about this. Really shot myself in the foot because now I got a bunch of wide receivers, a running back, and the other guy I want, Travion Henderson. I am sold on the talent, and I'm doing everything I can to get him. Dude, so I'm stacking him up as much as I can. So what you want?
Teammate 2 teams before me, like Joe Mixon at this one would have been fantastic. Would have been great, but he's not there. So
I got a great pivot that I think you're probably going to end up doing. Let's see.
There are a few people here I like. I'll be honest, just because you're not gonna get in between here. But Tony Pollard right now would be a great pick. Like Tajay Spears is, high ankle sprain early. That takes a while to come back, and they slow down afterwards. Like he's just gonna have the whole backfield to himself, and he's done all right. Not a huge fan of the Titans, but for someone who's gonna get like light bell cow work, like not a bad pick. But he just shouldn't be there at this point. Like the bots haven't, caught up to that injury. So I don't think that's a good one.
You think
it's Aaron Jones?
Is that big a deal? Like you're talking high ankle sprain. That's like a month out. We're a month out from the regular season. Like Tajay should be back.
But start off slow, and you got a guy who like Tajay always gets hurt, and he's going to start off hurt. Like I stay away from people like that. But it's Aaron Jones. Are you talking about Aaron Jones? Because that's exactly who I'm getting.
I knew you were going to pick. So because that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Go
ahead.
Yeah. Judkins, man. Judkins is 8 rounds too early as well. And then DeAndre Swift, 2 picks. Like I'm, definitely don't hate that pick.
Looking at what went around, the only players I would have drafted are Kelsey at this point. If I talked myself into it, but then like Ridley, Roma Dunze, and then Tracy, I am not happy at that point. Like that wraparound with who went. Tyrone Tracy, I mentioned in our group chat, I'm higher than people on him because I don't think Cam Scadaboo's that good. I know, I'm against the world. I watched the Texas game, loved it. He was my favorite college player for that day. But it's like the bottom line is I don't think he has the physical tools. And I think Tyrone Tracy was a good player. He just needs to hold on to the freaking ball. And that's it.
Yeah, I feel like Tyrone Tracy's early here. But like definitely I liked him too. Absolutely. Besides that, and not a huge fan of many of the other people that went there. Tony Pollard's still there kind of looking at me. I don't know. I feel like it's like a cheat at this point.
You're allowed to cheat. It's about winning the draft. It's not about
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to pick him here. So I got 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and I'm not going to pick another
Dude,
running
Connor's
back for a
screaming
while.
right now. Connor's just yelling at you for being an idiot. Anyways, all
Yeah.
right, here we go. I'm very happy.
Connor loves my
Somebody,
3 wide receivers, though, so we're fine.
no, he traded Devonta Smith for JMO in his dynasty league.
Oh, did he? I don't listen to him when he talks about that crap.
It's kind of just white noise. All right, this one's very, very easy for me. I know I probably shouldn't get a 5th wide receiver right away. Like, I think Deebo Samuel has huge upside, and for a player I don't have to rely on, I think this is a great spot for him.
Debo was definitely going to be my pick, by the way. If I didn't pick Tony Pollard right there, that was a good pick.
And then following up Debo, guy I mentioned that I think has great upside, Evan Ingram. So look at that. Talking earlier comes into play. I think
I'm so very much out on Evan Ingram. Yeah. So
dude, he had a high volume role in Jacksonville 2 years ago. Last year, I think he was hurt, and I think this year he comes in, and he's the kind of guy that Sean Payton likes, and I'm trusting Sean Payton way more than I should.
So there are 2 people that I really wanted right there, and it was Travis Etienne and Stephon Diggs. I just think this late for Diggs, would have been great. But here we are, don't have him. So don't have a wide receiver, or don't have a quarterback, don't have a tight end. And where we're at now, that's okay. So we had this conversation earlier. It's a Jawan Jennings versus Ricky Pearsall. And they kind of changed my mind. I was all on Jawan Jennings. Guess what? He's hurt now. But Ricky Pearsall, he's a 1st-round pick. I like all the other weapons. It's not like, it's like, oh, yeah, he might be the number 1 receiver. I'm like, yeah, he has McCaffrey and Kittle there. Like, there's not going to be a ton of attention on him. So I do like the offense in general. A little bit of a reach here. Not too bad. But I'm going Ricky Pearsall.
Let's see what goes around. Love Pearsall. If I didn't go grab Debo, he would probably be one of the guys I was considering.
Jaden Weed went.
As I said, looking at this wraparound, Matthew Golden is probably the guy I want. Not a fan of the tight ends that went. Njoku might be okay, but I'm not buying Cooper Kupp in Seattle, and I feel bad for him. I wish he was on a more relevant team. So yeah.
I wish I liked.
I don't like the people that go after you.
I really like Cooper Kupp, and I just wish there was a better situation there. The one I wanted to get to fall to me was Tyler Warren. I just like the upside. I think that he's going to be like just so necessary for the team, just like a safety net for whichever bad quarterback lands there. But he's gone, so he's dead to me. So I know, and I'm like a big fan of like value. I see people like sitting there, and it's like, man, I like Kyler Murray. I do want Kyler. I really want Kyler. So we're at this point, I don't have an elite quarterback. And if I don't have an elite quarterback, I'm going to have a good a runner at quarterback as I can get there. Like I said, I do like the weapons on that team. I do think that, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, like that's decent enough. And if Kyler can get moving, I think he could get some good fantasy value from him.
Kyler would have been my pick. I don't like anyone that went between you and me.
Dude, Jawan Jennings, man. And Ibuka.
I already have Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I don't want him. So looking here, man, starting to regret the Ingram pick because I would have taken Dalton Kincaid. If ifs and whats were whatever the saying is, it'd be better. So let's take a look. RB. I love that you click RB and everyone's just instantly marked as questionable. Gives a lot of confidence. Let's see. Wide receiver. Oh, this is getting to the point where I got to make some decisions on how I'm actually going to build my team, and that sucks. I don't have Harvey. I could go Dobbins. It's so funny because probably around the next turn is we're going to start to get to the backups that I like way too much, but I think they'll be home runs. Why'd you make us do this, Ken? Because I don't have the right answers here. You know what? I said I believe in the Chargers. Really wish I had Ladd McConkey now. So I'm going to go Herbert. Think he can just have a good year, and now it's back to me anyway, and this sucks again.
I forgot that you're going again.
Well, this really separates the men from the boys.
So we're round 10 here, so this is where it's like, man, just good luck.
Hopefully it hits. What do I got? I got 5 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Like, I need to take running backs, but I look at them, and I don't want any of this. You know what I mean? So realistically, I guess the best choice then is to pick the situation I want to be the part of. I don't want J.K. Dobbins. I don't want Jaden Blute. I don't want Nick Chubb. Let me see something. Where's Nick Chubb? All right, he's way down there. All right, the process in my head is right now, I should pick Dobbins. I want to pick Chubb. Jaden Blue's the right answer. So I'm going with Dobbins. I just want to be like, I don't think the Broncos offense is good, but I think they're better than I want them to be. And I think Dobbins is going to have the pass catching role because Harvey can't do that. So if he catches passes, I think nice high floor.
So I'm really happy you picked Dobbins because I have 4 running backs and I would have picked Dobbins for sure right there.
All right, Mr. E doesn't have legs. That's all you do. You talk smack about players you want. I like it.
You know what helps not having legs? Having like 5 different running backs also to rotate in with. So they're not going to give him 22 carries. And I think that, another year off of injury, at this point be good. But I think that they're going to do some crazy committee. But the fact that RJ Harvey went round 5 and JK went round 10, that's definitely good value on Harvey. So this is the ugly wide receiver section here. And I have 4, I have 3. So I need one more, man.
You got 2 that I like up here right now.
Well, I want IU. That's what I want,
But he's not playing until week 6, maybe beyond that.
But in the 10th round, that's not bad
already.
I know. It's going to be great. I'm all in on these 49ers. The right answer is Darnell Mooney. Yeah. And you mentioned him before, but I think that he's just done really well everywhere, but like he doesn't have to be a number 1. I think he fits well with Drake London. Big fan there.
All right. So real quick, I want almost all the players between you, like your picks here. I would have taken Dak, Pittman, Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Keon Coleman, Jordan Love. I wanted Stroud to come back on the back end, but he didn't because he would have been my stacking. I should have taken Dobbins and then Stroud with my picks. But that's why you do mock drafts. You got to learn these things.
Yeah, I completely forgot that I picked CD and was so pumped about it because
it would have been perfect to get the Dak stack.
Yeah, but I didn't get anybody between Kyler, I think, is just a whole the running just adds so much. I know it's ugly.
Well, if you got Dak last round, you could be sitting on Jake Ferguson as your tight end here.
I'm gonna pick Jake Ferguson, and that's why I'm pissed off so much that I didn't pick Dak. Who could I? I mean, I could have got Ibuka. Like realistically, Ibuka instead of Kyler, Dak, and then Jake Ferguson, and could have stacked up, and that would have been great.
That's why you practice, guys. And then look, we got kickers going. I feel like as an honor, to fit in, I should just take a kicker or defense.
How many more rounds are there?
What? 5 more.
Oh, okay. See, man, go take a kicker.
What?
Go take a kicker.
Just to fit in. All right, KC kicker.
I was kidding. Don't take a kicker.
I'm fitting in. I give in to peer pressure. I'm going to grab my defense so I can, let's see. I really don't care. I'm going to drop him after a week anyway. So we will just go with Ravens. I think the Ravens is a surprisingly good defense this year. They have 4 cornerbacks that I would consider cornerback ones on most of the teams in the league. I think their backup nickel is Chidobe Awuzie, who was, one of the Bengals' best corner 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Ravens probably a good pick there. They get to play the Browns twice.
I'm taking the Bengals in week 1 because they play the Browns. Just kidding.
Yeah, this one is, you're getting to the rough part here, but I do believe in that Jaguars offense. And Tank Bigsby's still there, and I do believe in ETN more. I wish I would have got him, 2 picks, freaking went 2 picks before me, but I'm still going to get a piece of that offense because you know what? He might just be their running back in what it could be a high-powered offense.
As you can see, Ken is beating the system by not taking players like the computer takes them. Cheating out here.
Well, I wanted the 49ers defense to go along with this 49ers for every position, but they went right before me there.
By the way, as you look, I'm just going to say, when we look at the QBs, like Cam Ward, JJ McCarthy, Justin Fields are all ahead of Lawrence, Penix, Stafford. There's Lawrence, Penix, and Stafford are all guys that could plausibly throw for 4,000 plus yards and 30 touchdowns because the offense is there and the defense they have supporting them. It's why is I get Justin Fields runs a lot. Don't get me wrong. I get JJ McCarthy has good upside because Sam Darnold just did it. But I think they're just being projected way too close to their ceiling, and you can wait 2 rounds and go grab Trevor Lawrence. So
this is actually a real steal of a pick. And I have way too many running backs already. Like Connor's going to hate this team so much. If he's never going to see it actually, but if he did, he'd hate it. But Austin Eckler right here is a great pick. Just he is on a good offense. He has kind of a solidified role, more pass catching, and he looked really good last year. He looked spry. So definitely, I mean, we're talking double digit 13 round, like real happy with that one.
Now we get to the Phil loves these picks. I have a bad problem with loving backup running backs and thinking they're way too good for their position. And it's they have one game where they have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns that I say I was right with that kind of thing. So there's only 3 rounds left, so I'm just going to point out these guys. But number 1, I think Braylon Allen will be the back to own in New York by the end of the year. The offensive scheme, like all the reports are that it fits him, and it's terrible for Breece Hall. And I think he was good as a rookie. He stole some Breece Hall's work, and I'm excited for him to take on a bigger role this year. And then the other pick, there's a couple guys.
You all right?
Yeah, they got some text messages from Sarah saying shut up. The other pick, Dylan Sampson.
So I got to tell you, I really, really like Dylan Sampson until I saw him get destroyed by every linebacker on the Browns. Like, he can't stay upright in practice. He is falling over nonstop. And I went, yeah, he is small, and he's looking real small now. Just like, that's like the classic thing where like these running backs, these smaller backs look so amazing until you put pads on, and then they start getting a little contact. And Dylan Sampson's a classic one there.
For the record, Jerome Ford, I think, is a good pick. I think he's going to have a bigger share of the Browns offense than expected just because he's a veteran.
So I like Jerome Ford, especially because Quinshon Judkins got God knows what's going on there. But I would have, before Tank Bigsby, if I was looking, I would have picked Jerome Ford, and I would have picked Isaac Orendo. So both of those are just great picks here. I just took 2 running backs. I can't possibly take any more. And I mean, just based on what you've heard from me, this is just a steal. Once again, this is just people not catching up to the news, but it's Keenan Allen. I mean, getting him this far down, dude's a monster. He's going to be a big part of the Chargers offense. Obviously not comparable to Ladd McConkey, but I mean, he's going to be good. So I thought that one was pretty simple. Phil absolutely could care less about Keenan Allen. This is the 3rd time he has completely not said anything about him.
I'm not going to respond to it's like Aaron Rodgers being on a team. Do you think he's going to put up a statistical relevant year?
Don't disrespect. So first off, on an absolutely like inept offense last year, Keenan Allen had like 707 touchdowns, and he like didn't play a bunch, and he walked off the field, and he threw an awful wide receiver like throw interception, and he's just good. Getting Evan McPherson here, I mean, the kicker for the best offense. Awesome.
Evan McPherson. Oh, you actually took a kicker.
Well, I had to because there's only 2 more picks.
You don't have a defense.
I know. I need a kicker and a defense.
It's not the last pick. That was your last pick, dude. It
says 16. And we're on round 15.
Right, we'll see what happens. Anyways, all right, so back to me. More of these running backs that I like. Oh, Roschon Johnson. Hyped him up. He's going to be the RB to own in Chicago. And then late round wide receiver, Cedric Tillman. Best receiver on the Browns.
You didn't go old enough with your second half, man. You got to go look at mine. You definitely didn't go old enough.
Dude, I'm telling you, Cedric Tillman is the best wide receiver on the Browns, period. And I think Flacco will make him look good. And then
you picked 2 Browns. Oh, man. Connor's going to say you did better than me. You picked 2 Browns. All right. This is a tough one, but we'll do Chiefs defense because who cares?
They'll be cut after week 1.
Defense would be... I should look, like, before my drafts, I do look at, like, who's playing who week 1, and I'm going to aim for probably whoever Justin Fields is playing. A good way to get a pick 6.
After hyping everything up, we got 0 stacks. Ken screwed up getting Dak stacked.
I had a great opportunity at a stack, and I blew it up.
And I screwed up stacking Stroud and Nico, which I really should have instead of Herbert. Lessons learned. This is why you do practice, because I thought I could get Herbert or Stroud right instead of Bucker. Didn't happen. Any regrets for you? Your team?
Just looking through, there were just a bunch of running backs that I would have rather done 2 wide receivers and 1 running back in the first 3 rounds. Like, if Tyreek wasn't injured, I probably would have got him in the second. Just the upside of, I mean, I think elite talent there. They don't want T. Higgins and Chase Brown, but could have got that. I would have rather had Mixon later where he went, but that's why it's important to know like where the sleeper rankings are at with everyone. But The big
to
one
other
is,
people.
yeah, I mean, I could have had CD. I have CD and Jake Ferguson. I'm happy to get some pieces of the Cowboys offense, and I could have just gotten Dak over Kyler. Just keep it that simple, and that would have been I would have been way happier.
I hate my running back situation, but it's got high upside, is what I'm advertising it as.
I also really hate your running back situation.
I
Like
do
I'm
not.
not a Omari and Hampton just didn't look that great. I love the situation. I just don't love the player. Travion Henderson, I love the player. I don't love the situation. And
And
I
this is
mean,
the,
JK was a good pick where it was, so that's fine.
hey, you live and you learn. There's just not a lot of running backs I like at the moment. I think that means I got to take one early on. But like, I didn't McCaffrey, but I don't think he would actually be at pick 11. But like Achan, I don't want him that early. I don't know. There's just James Cook, maybe. Just not guys I want.
Yeah, I didn't want James Cook right now is definitely a no for me, but yeah, I definitely would have rather won at 6 than 11 in this draft.
I think where does it fall off? I think pick 8 is my last spot where I'm happy with what I get because I don't want Henry. Like these guys just don't seem as valuable as the top 8.
Do you like Amon Ra, St. Brown,
Not really,
number 8?
but I'm happier with him. Like I think there's a clear drop off from 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10. Like this group's good, this group less so, and then less so, and then bad.
Yeah, Puka's never going that high ever again. So,
Hey,
oh well, good
all right,
bots. So,
cool. We
guys,
talked way too long. Great
there's a
work,
lot of
Ken.
stacks, and you don't need to do them.
After an hour of talking about it. Thanks for listening. All right.